Hello guys, welcome back to Helping Hand from OKC. Today here guys, I got several tips for you guys. Your toilet, you say your toilet won't flush. You hear it at night running and no one's flushing it. Here's some of the things that you can check to where you can determine whether it's your flapper, whether you need a new flush valve, or something else. Let's dig in, let's see what we got. Okay guys, so the first thing I want you to do, you're going to remove your tank lid here. I'm going to go over a couple parts that could be causing you a problem. On the left side here, this is your pump fill. This is your fill valve. This is what pumps the water into your tank. We want to check that first. And a lot of times I find out that it fills up. It's got a adjustable screw here. You can screw it to make this float here come up or down, depending on how much more water you want. If you turn it one way or the other, it'll make more water come in. I want you to look at that. I want you to check that. Because a lot of times people adjust this to where it fills up over. And you see this little tube here? And this water just right here to the edge of it. If this water goes over the edge, it'll go down in here and it'll make it run in your toilet. It'll just keep running and keep running because it'll keep trying to fill up. So you want to make sure this adjustment below, you can have it right to the edge or below this, or your pump will just keep running. That's only if your pump keeps running. Say you come out here and, you have movement in your toilet. And a lot of times I find that your chain here gets stuck. This chain here gets stuck on the inside of the flapper here. The flapper here, I'm going to flush it and show you. A lot of times the chain will be too long to adjust it, and it gets stuck in wedged in between, and your toilet doesn't continue to run. So you want to check that. Say if you come out here and you flush your toilet and you get no movement, you flush it and it won't flush. First thing I want you to do is check your chain. Make sure your chain is connected, because a lot of times this will rust in two or your chain will break. So check that. So say for instance, if you come out here and your toilet's not filling up, like this one's filling up right now. A lot of times it stops filling. This is your fill valve. This is what's designed to make this toilet fill up. First thing I would do, if my toilet wasn't filling, I would come and plunge this plunger up and down a couple of times, because a lot of times you get calcium buildup in this, and sometimes you have to just move it up and down a couple of times. It'll free it up and see if it should be kicking on. If you do that and you don't hear nothing that's coming from this valve or anything, then more likely you need to replace this flush valve. Say, for instance, that you're sleeping at night and you hear the toilet come on and you didn't flush anything, and this valve comes on by itself. One or two things that could be happening. Either this water is going over to this here, or your flapper is either loose or seeping by. And one of the ways you can check and see if your flapper is seeping by, you want to look in the toilet. You want to make sure that you can't see any movement of water. The water is totally still. You don't see any. Sometimes it's hard to detect. So what we're going to do, we're also going to do it. We're going to take it to a step further. I want you to get you some regular absorbent food color. Some color in here. This is food color. You can buy it at your local store and your bakery department, and they have various colors. And what you do, I'm going to take blue. Make sure you don't have color already in your toilet. And you want to just take a couple drops. You want to drop it into your tank. You can stir it up a little bit. Now it's blue. And what you want to do, place your lid back on, and I want you to come back in about 20 to 30 minutes. And then we'll see whether or not this blue should stay in the tank. If you come by and you see that in your bowl here, you have blue color in the blow, that means that your flapper is seeping by. So that means you have to replace your plastic flapper. And that's most of the time, that's what the problem is. And if you don't see any blue here, that means that your flapper is okay. So we're going to come back in 30 minutes and check it again. And while you're here, you might go ahead and check your flush handle here. A lot of times these screws will be loose. Make sure they're tight. Make sure this one's loose. And it's a backwards thread. Just take your hand and tighten it up sometimes. Make sure the chain is in good condition. A lot of times, like I said, this rust out. Other than that, that's basic of your tank here. These are what most of the time will cause a running toilet is the flapper or a flush valve. It's going to be one or two of those things that usually cause the toilet to run, or it's filling up, which is the pump. It's causing it to fill up. So just make sure there's water below this threshold, because if not, it'll just keep running and it'll turn on and turn off and turn on. You say, oh, what's going on? It just keep filling up. And make sure your float is working correctly. You know, you can adjust this to where it come up and down. So we're going to come back and check in about 15 minutes. Make sure the blue stays inside the tub, inside the tank. And we're going to open up and see whether or not any get in the bowl. And see whether or not we have any blue color. Nope, there's no blue color in our bowl. So that lets me know that my flapper is holding. My flapper is doing okay. Okay, guys, that was my tip for today. Everything looked fine. The flapper was not leaking. I would probably look at if it's continuing to make noises, I would probably look at my flush valve, may replace it, but the flapper's in good condition. But if you hadn't replaced your flapper in a couple of years, go ahead and do so. It only runs about $6 at your local hardware store, and your pump runs about $12 as well. So those are two component parts that usually go out and cause your toilet to either not fill or not flush. Also, make sure you check your handle. A lot of time the chain breaks or the chain goes between the flapper and keep the water running. So check those things. I think those things will help you save some money. You don't have to call a plumber for these things, or things that you can do, because the plumber is going to really charge you X, Y, and Z for come out and fix it in 5 minutes. So let's save yourself some money. All these things that I've shown you, you can check on my page, on YouTube page at Helping Hand OKC. Please leave a comment, please like, and please share. Thank you much. Bye-bye.